Why are so many people really leaving their retirement home?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
We're sending help immediately, Mrs. Fletcher.
It all starts with a fall. One slip, one hospital visit, and suddenly having to sell the retirement home to afford the high cost of a senior living community. The sell-off has already begun, and now this is the biggest retirement housing crisis in U.S. history. Starting in 2026, baby boomers begin turning 80, and here's the kicker. The 80-plus population is projected to surge nearly 28% in just 5 years. That's not a wave, that's a tidal surge, coined the Silver Tsunami. Think about it. The acceleration is staggering. Right now, we're seeing about 150,000 people hitting that milestone annually. And now the following year, it's going to jump up to 800,000 per year. So 150 to 800,000 or 900,000 potentially per year. That jump is very significant. And according to a CNBC article with Deb Cafaro, who is the CEO of Ventas, it's a senior living real estate investment trust and S&P 500 company with a $31 billion market cap. And she is saying that we're buying billions of dollars a year in senior living, and we're seeing returns in the sevens going in. This age group isn't just thinking about downsizing for retirement. It's not just lifestyle anymore. It's about needs. For many families, senior living doesn't start as a choice. It starts with a big crisis, a fall, a broken hip, or a sudden medical event that lands the parent in the hospital. And when the hospital discharges them, the family is told they can't go back home alone. That's when the scramble begins. Senior living, whether it's independent living, assisted living, or memory care, is designed to support and provide just that extra layer of support. Is 24/7 care. They have medication management and medical access and safe, accessible environments for them. But here's the catch. This kind of care is super expensive. Depending on the level of support needed, costs can run $4,000 to $6,000 a month just for basic independent living, and then $6,000 to $8,000 a month for higher care needs, depending on how much care that family member needs. Memory care or a skilled nursing facility often is $8,000 to $12,000 per month. For most families, those numbers are not sustainable. Medicare doesn't cover the long-term senior living, and insurance is also limited. So what happens? Because the adult children are often forced to sell the family home or sell the retirement home their parents live in just to keep up with the monthly bills. It's a heartbreaking reality. Decades of hard work and savings can be liquidated in a matter of months, all just to cover the care that nobody planned for and they need to make a quick decision on. And here's the real crisis. Demand for these senior living communities is exploding at the exact moment when supply is at historic lows. Too many families needing placement, not enough rooms. In housing, that imbalance doesn't just create stress, it creates chaos. So why aren't we building enough of these senior living facilities? It's not just high interest rates to fund building one of these facilities. That's only a small piece. The real culprits are the construction costs. There's steel involved, there's lumber, there's concrete, and all these costs have skyrocketed. There's labor shortages. Builders can't find enough skilled workers, especially after the pandemic wiped out parts of the workforce. There's land scarcity. Suitable land for retirement community isn't cheap, and zoning policies aren't always friendly. To rezone space, it takes a lot of work and a lot of research, and not everybody's up for it. There's bank lending. Banks are demanding larger cash deposits to finance these new developments that not every developer has, which also chokes out smaller builders. Even if rates come down, these issues keep construction very expensive, and the public policy around immigration, zoning, and labor directly affects whether we can build enough housing for seniors. Right now, the math isn't mathing. It just doesn't work. At the same time, these senior living communities are filling up fast. The occupancy is rising. Demand is pouring in. But supply just isn't catching up. Think about what happens when millions of people must move because of health, safety, or lifestyle. And now there's nowhere to go. That's when the cracks turn into a crisis. Now onto the 55 plus community crisis, because they may be hit harder than anyone expects. Here's why. Because many families have no choice but to sell that home. The retirees need to unlock that equity fast to cover the care costs. So that creates a surge of homes hitting the market at the same time. But here's the problem. The buyer pool is limited. 55 plus communities can only sell to people over 55, which instantly shrinks demand. And younger retirees, many don't want the restrictions. There's HOA rules they have to deal with, the age limits, or the lack of flexibility, knowing that they won't be able to resell because every other home is vacant. 50% vacancy in a community definitely brings the value down in that community. And there's going to be a mass exodus from 55 plus communities to senior living. I mean, 150,000 people per year to 800,000. That jump is significant. They don't want to get stuck. So as more homes flood these communities for sale, buyers don't keep up. That leads to falling values, unsold inventory, and in some cases, communities that start feel like ghost towns. I know an HOA in a 55 plus community that has looser age restrictions where there's 10% of the community can be under 55. This is a shift that changes the whole identity of the 55 plus neighborhood. What was once a retirement oasis could slowly transform into a mixed rental community with very different dynamics than what was originally planned or the original homeowners signed up for. So you've got a double hit here. There's families selling off homes in 55 plus communities to pay for senior living costs, and you got fewer qualified buyers able or not willing to take their place. And when too many homes come on the market at once with too few buyers, values drop. That's how the financial strain of senior living ripples directly into the 55 plus housing market. Now, will all these become ghost towns? Will big equity companies start buying them up and renting them out? Will HOAs in these communities be forced to loosen their age limitations, pivoting towards multi-generational rentals? Let me know in the comments what you think, what will happen right down below. And here's another storm cloud, if that wasn't enough, right? Homeowners outside of the 55 plus age range are draining equity through cash out refinances. According to ICE Mortgage Technology, cash out refinances hit a 3-year high in mid-2025 in June and July. On average, homeowners are pulling a little over $90,000 out of their houses, using that home equity, but as a cash out, using it for debt consolidation, for home upgrades, or just to cover basic living expenses. These are all not smart decision making. These are not good reasons to take out cash out of a home. There's so many factors here at play. And here's another problem with that. The problem with that is the decision adds about $600. If they're taking out $90,000, it's about $600 a month extra in a mortgage payment. So combine that with already high rates, and people who once had manageable mortgages are now staring at $3,500 per month mortgages, $4,500, $5,500 a month mortgages per month. I mean, that's just unsustainable. And 60% of all those refinances that are happening are all cash out. They're not refinances. They're taking just cash out. They're not lowering the rates. they're not refinancing to lower the rates, because a lot of people were betting, 2-3 years ago, the interest rates were really, really high. People were betting that right by now, the interest rates would be a lot less lower, and they're not. So they're raising a lot of risk. And when those payments get too high, we're looking at foreclosures, we're looking at short sales, and contracts being canceled at record levels. Actually, Redfin reports that 15.5% of pending home contracts are being canceled, the highest rate ever. This is exactly how crises creep up. Slow, very slow, and then boom, all at once. And does this sound familiar, this pattern here? Because I'm really good at detecting patterns, and this is definitely one of them, because in 2009 we were told the subprime mortgage crisis had hit, but the bottom of home prices didn't come down until 2011, 2012. That was at the bottom. Housing crises don't collapse overnight, they unravel over years. In the last case, it was 2 to 3 years from the time it was announced on the media, at least, to reach those record-breaking home price decreases. We've been building toward this since 2020, and the cracks are showing. This time around, it's retirees and seniors caught in the middle, a bubble within a bubble. This time, it's a boomer bubble. But not so fast right now. How do we know when the crisis tips into full-blown recession, right? That's the real question, because this is not a no BS kind of, this is real advice. The number one market standing in the way right now, the number one marker is unemployment. According to U.S. Department of Labor, unemployment hasn't spiked yet. It remains stable at 4.2%. So some would say that this is a little bit of a confusing ordeal here, but we have to watch this space. The unemployment rate is something we have to watch. When layoffs start and headlines on the headlines and in the media, panic starts to spread. Other signals are already flashing red, like the home sitting longer on the market, the days sitting on the market, inventory piling up, home builders offering steep incentives to move new homes, the interest rates not decreasing. Builders are always the first to cut prices. They're the ones first to fold, and that's what happened in the last situation, and the first to get absorbed by bigger players. That's already happening quietly in some markets, but also something to keep on watch, because this is another indicator that's big. The housing market right now is like frying an egg on high heat. Things are sizzling, but they can burn really fast. We're in a rare moment in history. You've got high interest rates, soaring construction costs, you got equity being drained through cash outs, and the Silver Tsunami about to unleash millions of retirees looking for senior living housing. The only thing holding this market together right now is jobs. Once layoffs hit, the dominoes start to fall one by one, and they're gonna fall fast. So what does that mean for you, right? Right now, you've got a window of opportunity because you've seen this video and you know what may happen. If you're planning to retire the next 5 years or next 2 years, the smartest move you can make is to get strategic today. If you wait, you could end up with fewer options when selling your home, paying higher costs, or getting stuck in a community that's nearly impossible to leave because there's so many vacancies in that community. That's why I built this channel and an online retirement community to connect. We dive deep into this, the trends, and share with each other the proven strategies and help you sidestep the traps that catch so many others by surprise. The Silver Tsunami isn't a distant problem. It's already building. It's been brewing. The only question is, will you be prepared to ride the wave or risk being pulled under? I'm Krish D'Errico, a real estate agent. I am passionate about helping people turn their retirement dreams into reality by finding their perfect place to call home. And if you're extra curious, you're planning retirement, you want expert answers, plus a community of folks going through the same thing, check out the private group. We're built in the, you could check out the link right below. It's in the description, or just join our free newsletter, because remember, it's not just a retirement, it's a lifestyle.